Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. We have a big federal election coming up, and so Josh is here with me, and we're going to talk about the big difference between the two major parties and how they intend to deal with the current housing crisis here in Canada. So let's start. We're going to pick a side. Doesn't mean that's how we're voting, but I'm going to deal with the Conservatives. Josh is going to talk about the Liberals, and we're going to start with the housing construction goals. So Pierre Poilievre has said he's going to build 2.3 million homes over the next 5 years. He's going to do this by incentivizing the municipalities, and he's going to cut a whole bunch of red tape. This works to about 460,000 homes per year.
And the Liberals are going to create a new crown corporation called Build Canada Homes. And their plan is to build 500,000 homes over the next 6 years. And that is about double the current pace of construction. So where are these homes going to be built? Well, the Liberal government is proposing that through this Build Canada Homes, they're going to lease thousands of acres of land for development. Those would be 99-year federal crown leases and allow homes to be built on those without giving up full control of the land.
Conservatives have said very clearly, we're not interested in owning anything that you should own. We're going to keep it in your hands. So they're going to sell 6,000 underutilized federal buildings across Canada, and they're going to sell thousands of acres of federal land, and they're going to allow the builders and the developers to take it over, build new homes. Now, both of these parties are also offering a GST relief, but in different ways. The Conservative government has said, look, we're going to remove GST on every home purchase that's under $1.3 million. Here's the catch. It's for all buyers. It doesn't matter if you're a first time or you're buying your 10th house, you are qualified. There's about $65,000 worth of savings for the end user. Josh, what's the Liberal saying?
Or maybe it's probably more like up to 65, right? Not everybody's buying that $1.3 million home. The Carney Liberal version of it's not as good, in my opinion. They've gotten rid of the GST for homes up to $1 million, so it's up to $50,000, but it's limited to first-time home buyers, so it's not incentivizing existing homeowners to build bigger homes and release existing inventory back into the market. So that's that one. Now, municipalities are the government level that's in charge of permits and inspecting and making sure homes are built, not the federal government. So each party has proposed its own way of doing it. The Liberal Party has proposed a $4 billion housing accelerator fund that is designed to reduce municipal development charges. I don't know if it's unclear how that's going to work, but subsidizing or helping the municipalities to do more permitting.
Poilievre has said very clearly, we're going to put it back in the hands of the municipality, but we're going to look over it and make sure you're hitting your target. So he's going to put a minimum standard in place. And if you don't hit it, you're going to get penalized with your funding. But if you beat and exceed the targets, you're actually going to get some bonuses. So they say this should cut red tape by, about 25% within 2 years. And because of this increase of funding related to performance, it should drive people to try and do a little bit better. But what are we going to do about this labor? Like, there's a real problem with the workforce right now. How are we going to increase it? Poilievre, very clearly, he's dealing with the unions and the union halls. He's promised to build some new ones of those, as well as train about 350,000 new tradespeople. And he's going to give them each a $4,000 grant to go to trade school, which is great.
And we're going to need about that many new tradespeople to do it. The Liberal plan, while they have emphasized generally helping people through the trades, it's a bigger program. It's not limited or specifically targeted to new home construction. They're offering up to $8,000 per worker to help them through their trade program. But again, that's not specific to home building construction. And so we may not see as many new people being trained to build the homes, and we need all of them. Environmental stuff. The Liberal government is proposing $1 billion to make homes more climate resilient and energy efficient. It's a little unclear how they're going to do that and how they're going to require it. But the Conservatives have kind of a more laissez-faire approach.
Yeah, they just said very clearly, let's let the consumers decide how they want their homes to perform. As a buyer agent, I've seen this working very well. My buyers ask me a lot of times, are these triple pane or double pane windows? And what's the insulation? Is there spray foam? What level of insulation are we at? Are they at the minimum standard or are they exceeding it? Most of the consumers are willing to pay for a home that's actually energy efficient, and it is on their mind. So they're just making it very clear. Let's let the consumers decide what they want to pay for.
And over time, having something more energy efficient is just better for the consumer. So it makes sense to have that. So, if we're talking about how each party's framing the others, the Liberals are framing the Conservatives' approach as favoring landlords and cutting programs needed for affordability. It's letting the free market build what it wants to build, which often does lead to some higher priced homes and maybe not as much of that lower priced affordable housing. I don't know. And then what's happening on the other side?
So conservatives just made this standard that the liberals have already inflated the costs through this bureaucracy, and they've slowed down the delivery of housing. So they've created these big corporations, and then there's levels within the levels, and it's a whole bunch of red tape, and no one knows it's just a whole bunch of a mess. And they're saying we don't want to do that anymore. So you know what? I think understanding, hopefully this gives you some clarity as a voter. If housing is super important to you, then maybe we've given you some insight in which party is sort of going to favor the ideas you like the best. Either way, though, democracy is a very great privilege. Please exercise your right to vote and do so. And in the meanwhile, we're kind of chewing our fingernails, looking to see what happens on Monday. But we look forward to seeing you next week as well. We hope this helped. Please like, please subscribe, please follow along, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.